Previously on Half Street High Heat.
The Nationals are heading out west this week for a 4-game series against the Rockies in Mile High, Denver. Here are the pitching matchups. Okay, now get that out of here. This series is about hitting, baby.
This series is about hitting, baby. This series is about hitting, baby.
Alright, Jurickson Profar is the first batter of today's game. Josiah rocks, kicks, deals, and bloop single. And if this was not a harbinger of things to come, I do not know what was. So we got some other hits that were like that as well. There was quite a few batted balls that were not hit very hard, and yet they found the grass because it's Coors Field, or a guy beat out a single or something like that. So some bad luck on some hits. But overall, a lot of soft contact today from Josiah, which is a good thing in the long run. But anyways, back to the first inning. Chris Bryant is going to ground out to Jeimer Candelario. And I wanted to point out the next at-bat from Charlie Blackmon, because Josiah really didn't have his command 100% in the first inning. And there you go. You've just seen the final walk of Josiah Gray's day. There it is. Only one walk today, and that was to Charlie Blackmon in inning number 1. But now you got to buckle down. You got big slugger CJ Cron coming to the dish. Josiah's going to try and get him off the plate a bit by throwing inside, trying to get him to stop leaning out over the dish, because he loves to lean. He likes to go out and pull that off speed. So Josiah, despite not getting in the zone, does a good job there, and he's going to get the sliders to start coming into the zone. Nice foul off from Cron on that third one, but he's not going to have a chance on this fourth one. Josiah kind of had Cron's number all day, and you're going to see him back here later for another at-bat. But he's not quite out of it yet, because Ryan McMahon is a very good hitter, so he's going to start him off with backdoor curveball for a strike. Loses a fastball up. Fastball was a little bit out of command there. Kind of gets away with that one, hanging in the middle of the zone. Throws a nice slider. Ruiz actually really likes that location for that one. And he's going to want it back there again. Unfortunately, Josiah can't quite execute, but now they're going to go up and in with the cutter, and it's a sword, and it looks bad. Ryan McMahon, walk back to the dugout, my friend. That was the first cutter Josiah threw, and it was a beauty. Now Josiah is going to show Jonathan Daza and Ezequiel Tovar what good morning, good afternoon, and good night means, because he's going to get both of them on 3 pitches. And Kevin Franzen is all of us when that front door curveball drops into Tovar. Okay, but let's talk about Josiah's new cutter, because he's added it to the arsenal this year, and he's used it not as much as he was during spring training, and Chris Bryant got him on a cutter for pretty much the only hard hit ball of the day that ended up as an extra base hit. And I think that for the cutter to work, he really needs to stay using it against lefties like Charlie Blackmon here. I included this clip because I wanted to show the ground ball out, and that is big against lefties for Josiah. And I think against righties, especially if the slider is working, he might as well just throw sliders to righties instead, because it breaks more and he has pretty good control over it most of the time. So this next strikeout is probably my favorite of the afternoon from Josiah. I think it shows the value of throwing his slider more than his fastball, because when he does do that and when he does locate his slider, the fastball actually acts more deceptive in that he can kind of keep guys off balance because they're not ready for it. But it just couldn't last, could it? Because the Nationals' mortal enemy had to show its face today. The sun. No, that is not a joke. Lane Thomas gets absolutely sun-monstered, and Josiah gives up a double because baseball scoring is stupid, and we've got a leadoff base runner on second. Chris Bryant's going to come up and single and get that run in from second base, and Chris Bryant was pretty much the only guy that really saw Josiah well today. This is tough. This is CJ Cron seeing you for a third time. Can you continue to own him? Josiah says yes. He's actually going to miss a couple fastball locations, kind of gets away with the second one, but then he's going to lock in with the slider. And once Cron took his swing on the first slider, pretty much got to throw the second one, and they were both extremely well executed. And you can see some frustration there from Josiah and Ruiz, and I totally get why, but I'm really glad that they were able to get through that, and they're going to need some of that mental fortitude for the next inning. First batter of the 6th is Ryan McMahon, and Josiah is going to get him to hit a ground ball to the right side, but for whatever reason, Dom Smith decides to go after this ball when it was very clearly Luis Garcia's, and he probably would have been able to make the play. Also, that was scored as a hit instead of an error, so Josiah would be on the hook for this run if it were to score. But it's all good because Josiah executes the perfect curveball for the double play, and it gets bobbled. So only one out, and both base runners that have been on should have not been on in this inning. And that is unfortunate, but Josiah is still going to battle even after giving up a single on the next pitch on a ground ball. Again, another pretty good pitch, and just an unfortunate result. But luckily, he's going to battle with Daza once again and get the lazy fly ball out to Victor Robles in center field. And then we are going to see Ezekiel Tovar eventually ground out to Dom Smith at first base. And Josiah gets out of it, only allowing the one earned run in 6 innings pitched, had 6 strikeouts, only walked the one batter that was Charlie Blackmon in the first inning. And this was a game that, had a few bounces gone his way. You could have seen Josiah go 7, maybe even 8 innings in this game. Unfortunately, the pitch count just got up there a little bit too high because of some of the hits that they were getting. And so that was just unfortunate. But I really think that despite the fact that it doesn't jump off the page stat-wise, this is one of Josiah's best starts of his career. And it's definitely encouraging to see what he can do when that slider is being located, because I don't think he really had that in his first start, but he had it. He had it, and the Rockies players could not see that pitch. So anyways, hopefully the bats will frickin' wake up next time so Josiah doesn't get another hard luck loss, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me for the breakdown, and I'll see you next time. Peace.